Hello everybody and welcome back to Outward. Today we're going to be talking about the Jade Lich. This is the second of 3 liches that you can encounter in the game. First one is the Gold Lich, which of course we know is in the Marsh. The second one ironically is in the Marsh as well, the Jade Lich. And the third is the Scarlet Witch, which is a very not as well common known one. You don't really fight with her. It's more of a dialogue and it's more of a quest line that you do with her, but you can get a good reward. Her dagger. If you go to the forest, often you'll be able to find her pretty much easily if you explore every single region in there, but don't worry, we'll be talking about that later as well. Anyway, the Jade Lich is a little bit different than the gold one in the sense that with this one, he fights a little differently. Now, the Gold Lich, he's all about the ranged attacks. You know, he threw the spears and throughout the lightning orbs and whatnot as well. Jade Lich is more of a magic caster in the sense that, or magic melee, I should say, in the sense that he is pretty dangerous when you get to close mid-range, as well as pretty far away as well. What he does is he likes to summon tentacles and whatnot out of the ground, and also fire these low-moving, I want to say, like bolts at you, magic bolts. But we'll get into that a little bit later. He calls himself the Plague Doctor, and the story behind him is that basically he feeds off corruption. And ever since Elat, the god of the Marsh, and the god of the Blue Collective as well, ever since he has died in his physical form and summoned the corruption, summoned the scourge, he has fed off a corruption by funneling it into his Ziggurt, as it's called, and then consuming it. So from corruption can grow life. The problem is when the corruption started to begin to be too much, when Elat exploded and whatnot, that was kind of too much for him, and he's trying to cope with it. He's been trying to help where he could ever since, but unfortunately, before Elat, everything was fine. This guy could, eat corruption all day long and be just good. But now it's kind of spiraled out of control. So that's his backstory a little bit. And he actually offers you the ability to craft Tsar Weapons. So armor you get from Levant, you craft those in the city at the blacksmith. And of course, I'm wearing the chest piece and the boots right now. Not wearing the helmet just yet. I didn't want to get it too soon. But I got enough Tsar Weapons. I got enough Tsar Stones. I should be able to get one of the halberds here. I'm hoping to get one of those right now. But anyway, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to showcase what these ones look like. So when you beat this guy in a fight like the Gold Lich, you talk to him. And you can ask him some questions if you want, but we can just hit let's get started. And then it works a lot in the same way where you can hover over them and see what they kind of are. Of course, you got the Tsar sword on the right side here. You've also got the Tsar axe. That's one-handed, by the way. Mace. Here's the halberd right here. 2 Tsar stones for that one. I'm going to need an extra one, actually. The shield, of course. That one should be 1. The spear. The great hammer. The great axe. And the claymore. So most of these require 2 Tsar stones, but one thing you'll notice is that they also require a piece of Hackmanite and Palladium scraps. So the Hackmanite is this purple gem right here that you can get from mining mana stones. You have a chance to get it. And then the Palladium scraps you can get from blacksmiths in the Marsh, or you can also get from the Gold Lich as well. You can also get this from the Gold Lich, but you won't be able to get the Tsar stone. Really should have brought 2 of those. Of course, the spear is worth 2 as well. The shield should only be worth 1. And then the one-handed weapon should all be just 1 Tsar stone. Now, essentially, these weapons are pretty much considered some of the best, if not the best in the game. Just like the armor, they have a lot of good stats. I'm going to, in a second here, get 1 more Tsar stone, and I'll bring it right back here and kind of show you what it looks like. But I highly recommend trying these ones out if you're able to afford them. Definitely, you want to try those out for sure. Okay, I managed to retrieve the 2nd Tsar stone. So now we can talk about what these ones will look like. I'll go ahead and show you right now because I do need to get this halberd here. His favorite weapon, really? I bet he's gonna say the exact same thing about the spear. You watch. Oh, really? Okay. Weapon of the barbarians. Got good taste, I guess, then. Well, I'll take it. Give it to me. Give me a moment and it's yours. Very nice. So you can definitely come back in a week and craft this up yourself again. Oh, never mind. It looks like you can actually just do it whenever you want. I stand corrected. So in that case, this is, yeah, that's a little bit of a lot of damage right there. The previous the previous halberd I had only did like 48 damage, and the impact was around the same. This is much more. The only difference, of course, is it's a lot slower, and it doesn't have an element on it, it looks like, which I can only guess the other ones probably don't have the element either, which makes sense. The Jade one does, but the San ones probably don't. So that makes sense then. If that's the case, then that'd be perfectly fine. Just the damage alone on that is crazy good. It might be worth a lot too. I bet it's definitely worth a lot. So definitely check this out if you're interested in getting some of the best weapons in the game. I highly recommend it. These look really good, and apparently you can craft them as much as you want. If you need a guide on how to farm these Tsar stones, I did make a guide video for this earlier today, so feel free to check that out as well. Now in terms of how to beat this man. So the Plague Doctor, it's pretty simplistic. It's a much easier fight than the Gold Lich, I gotta say. Most of the time, if you're just staying in mid-range and just dodging his tentacles and moving around, staying mobile when you can, and then when the tentacles stop, you have your opening to attack, you'll be just fine. People who use bows or runic magic, pistols, things like that, you'll have an easier time because the guy, he doesn't really, he has a lot of slow casting stuff, and most of his stuff won't actually hit you as long as you're moving from time to time. For instance, the not just the tentacles that come out of the ground, but the plasma bolts that he shoots at you, or the magic bolts, those are slow moving, but they also have a pretty short radius, so you probably won't get hit by that often as long as you're paying attention. Other than that, he does have these green swirls that can surround him, so you make sure you don't get hit by those and you'll be just fine. Now for melee users strictly, one thing you need to note is if you do get close to him, he's going to try to teleport away. And also, if you do get close, you have to deal with all those bolts that are flying at you alongside the green spirals that are circling around him. So you don't want to get hit by that because that's going to do a crap ton of damage probably. And also on top of that, the tentacles will be hitting you all the while. So just be careful there for sure. And then during the fight as well, if you just keep on using the elements on him, whatever you can, you'll wipe him out no problem. Then he'll offer you the set of the Jade Lich. So he'll give you, similar to the Gold Lich before, he'll give you the spear, of course. Oh no, this time the staff he will give you, and it's a really good staff as well. For 300 silver on the broker if you're interested in selling it at all, but it's a really good one to use too. And he'll give you the armor, which is very similar to the mage armor from the Lich one. It'll give you mana reduction and a ton of resistances to the elements as well. So I definitely recommend checking that out for sure. But that is all that really is there to know about the Plague Doctor. If you're doing it in co-op, it becomes a much easier fight as long as you're using ranged weapons. Even if bow, pistol, runic magic, doesn't matter, any kind, sigil magic as well, chakrams, anything that can reach him from a mid to far distance, you'll be just fine with. One more thing to note is that there is a halfway point up here, right there. When you're trying to get the Tsar stone that's in here, because there is one that is provided in here, you need to jump off like halfway up that elevator, like right there, get that lever in the back, and then it's going to be on that side, on the left side, downstairs. That's where you'll want to go for getting the Tsar stone. There'll be a corridor that opens up in there, and this is also how you unlock the Jade Lich as well. So you have to, there's levers on both sides, so you have to go outside, and you have to go in through the openings on both sides there. So there is a bunch of dogs outside, and I'll show you as well where this location is on the map too, just so you know. This is where it's located on the map, the Dark Ziggurt. What I like to do is I like to go from Monsoon, follow the Pilgrim Road, which is those blue pillars on the side of the road, all the way down. And then once you get to the wind tower, you can't miss it. Just start going northwest from there, and you'll see the Ziggurt. You'll see it on the way down more than likely. It's the only one that's going to be out there, so you won't miss it for sure. And then after that, once you get here, the openings that I'm speaking of are going to be a little bit down the way here. Right there. So there's one opening right there, and there's another opening right there. Now watch out for these quote-unquote dogs, as I said before. There's also NPCs inside that can also cause a lot of damage. But once you go into those, you should be okay as long as you go straight for the levers. Case in point right there. And I'll show you a little bit about what's inside this interior as well, and see if I can show you where that Tsar stone is exactly. It should be in the corridor that gets opened in here once you take care of that lever that I told you about. That's about halfway up. Right there, right down there where we were looking a second ago. Yeah, and there's bandits in here as well, so be sure to be safe on that count. There are NPC humans on this side, as well as those little flaming golems that can attack you as well. Where we're looking at right now, this is where you can get the Tsar stone right here. So be sure that once you get in here, grab it from here, one time grab, and then you'll be good. And watch out for the robot guy as well. And then once you grab that one, you can get your first weapon if it's a one-handed ow. If you want to get 2 of them, you got to do the other method or go for the electric lab in the desert, but it's completely up to you. Anyway, folks, that's going to be all for now as well. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to go this way instead. Thank you very much. And you guys have a wonderful night or day. Let me just make sure I can get the heck out of here. Freaking dangerous world out there. Excuse me, pardon me. I don't like the fight in these kinds of close quarters with that many mobs around too, so we're just gonna dip out of here for now. This would be the way out. Perfect. All right, folks. Thanks so much for joining. Later.